Hello and welcome to the 5th week of Season 23, Season of the Wish, starting on December 26th, 2023. So for Week 5, let's get going with our Legacy rotation, starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a weak curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in the Strand, and has the Broken Courier mission for the next week. The Blind Well features Scorn enemies and the Plagues, Sicarus and Veracus. The Ascendant challenge this week will be the Forfeit Shrine, which can be located over in the Gardens of Vasilia on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is Beyond. The Trove Guardian is located in Archer's Line, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Hawkis in the Anchor of Light. And the Nightmare hunts this week will be Scolus, Pride, Fanatic, Insanity, and Omnigul, Anguish. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Credis the Dark Priestess will be the Empire Hunt, Eventide Ruins will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Survival. For the 30th Anniversary expansion, Dares of Eternity Legendary rounds are Vex, Cabal, and for the final round, Crota. The loot rotation will be on Week 4's rotation, with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Pathfinder armor set being available. The weapons available this week will be the Stasis Precision Frame Shotgun Fractithis, the Solar High Impact Frame Auto Rifle Cryosura Milo, the Stasis Precision Frame Hand Cannon Vulpicula, the Arc Precision Frame Bow Wolftone Draw, the Solar High Impact Frame Fusion Rifle Iotona Draconis, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Heavy Grenade Launcher Canis Major, the Arc Vice Rapid Fire Frame Scout Rifle Contingency Plan, the Kinetic High Impact Frame Pulse Rifle Legal Action 2, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Heavy Grenade Launcher Outrageous Fortune, the Void Adaptive Frame Sword Steel Syllabus C14, and the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Sidearm Spoiler Alert. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is The Arrival, where the modifiers are Scorched Earth and Fire Pit, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Also this week you'll have Altar of Reflections Catalyst and Altar of Reflections Insight. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne World weapon, Veritas armor, and a weapon pattern as its rewards. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is No Time Left, with Barrier and Unstoppable champions, lock loadouts at Legend difficulty and higher, Void Threat, Void and Strand shields, Pestilence, Stasis and Solar Surges, with overcharged machine guns and galvanized on hero difficulty only. The Partition mission will be Backdoor, contest mode enabled with Barrier and Overload champions, Void Threat, Arc and Solar shields, Shocker modifier with Solar and Stasis surges. And the Vex incursion this week will be Zephyr Concourse. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon exotic mission on the EDC. For the Season of the Deep, all 3 fishing ponds are now exotic all week. Raids and Dungeons. The Crota's End raid challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Ear-Ute the Deathslinger, called Equal Vessel. All 6 players must rotate the Chalice of Light buff in the same order throughout the entire fight. Each player cannot hold the Chalice again before all 5 other players have. Plus, if you complete the weekly challenge on Master, you'll get an Adept weapon. The Adept weapon you get is a random drop, but works on a knockout system. You will get a new one with every challenge you complete every week until you've unlocked them all. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Nezarec, called All Hands. Each player in your fire team must trigger 1 node on each side before the damage phase begins. The Kingsfall raid challenge this week is the 2nd encounter, War Priest, called Devious Thievery. Players must steal the brandy of the Initiate within a couple of seconds of taking the brand claimer's buff. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Templar, called Out of Its Way, where you must keep the Templar from teleporting. The Deep Zone Crypt challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Tanix Part 1, called Of All Trades. Guardians must perform each role at least once, Operator, Scanner and Suppressor. The Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Consecrated Mind, called Staying Alive, where you must not kill the spawning Cyclopses in the first 2 rooms. And the Last Wish challenge this week is the 2nd encounter, Shirochi, called Witch Witch. Guardians must not get hit or take damage from Shirochi's Arc Blast. Your Pinnacle raid will be the Vow the Disciple over on the Throne World, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the 1st encounter, Acquisition, called Swift Destruction, where Guardians must kill all champions within a few seconds of each other on all rounds. The 2nd encounter, the Caretaker, called Base Information, where runners cannot pick up more than 1 stack of knowledge on each run. The 3rd encounter, the Upender, called Defenses Down. This is where each player cannot kill more than 1 Taken Knight in total. And the 4th encounter, Rulk, called Looping Catalyst. This is where Guardians must not lose the Leeching Force buff before the damage phase. Also, with the Vow the Disciple being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the exotic Pulse Rifle Collective Obligation. The Pinnacle dungeon will be the Prophecy over in the Legends tab. And the exotic mission rotator will be Presage, with the Dead Man's Tale exotic scout rifle being the main reward. Craftable weapons available from this mission include the Arc Adaptive Glaive Nezarex's Whisper, the Stasis Aggressive Frame Rocket Launcher Bump in the Night, the Kinetic Precision Frame Scout Rifle Tears of Contrition, the Void Adaptive Frame Trace Rifle Hollow Denial, the Kinetic Precision Frame Auto Rifle Firefright, the Solar Lightweight Frame Shotgun Without Remorse, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon or Stringer, the Solar Sidearm Drang Baroque, the Solar Adaptive Frame Sniper Beloved, and the Solar Submachine Gun Callus Mini Tool, with the Eidolon Pursuant Armor Set. Next up, challenges. Wish Seeker 5, complete week 5 of Wishing All the Best. 4. Challenge XP+. Dream Crusher, defeat bosses and mini-bosses in Riven's Lair and the Coil. 4. Challenge XP+. Dragon's Defender 4, defeat 125 targets with hand cannons or submachine guns. Gain additional progress from Guardian Final Blows and Final Blows within Riven's Lair or the Coil. 4. Challenge XP+. Neptune activities. On Neomuna, complete bounties, patrols, public events and lost sectors. 4. Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. Commendation Appreciation. And progress for giving 5 commendations in Vanguard, Crucible and Gambit activities. 4. Challenge XP and Bright Dust. Potent Projectiles. Defeat 25 Guardians in Crucible or Gambit with bows, hand cannons, pulse rifles, auto rifles or rocket launchers. And bonus progress for Rocket Launcher Final Blows. 4. Challenge XP and Bright Dust. And Boss Battle. Defeat bosses in Strikes or Vanguard playlists. Bonus progress is granted for defeating bosses on Hero difficulty or higher. 4. Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust.
Hello!
As a reminder, your daily lost sector will show you a flag outside which will give you details of threats, shields, champions and exotic armour you will find inside. But if you're new to the game or using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the lost sector normally to have it show up on your map as a legend/master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team, but you'll only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. This season will see the introduction of Gunsmith engrams, as well as a selection of foundry weapons for completing Legend and Master lost sectors while solo, with Legend being a 70% chance to Master being 100%, assuming the Guardian is thorough enough to leave no champion standing. Thorough completions on Master difficulty will also have the advantage of weapons dropping an additional perk in either the 3rd or 4th column. The weapons available from the lost sectors are grouped into 4 weapons per day over 4 days, and after the 4th day the cycle repeats back to the first set. The following weapons will be available from the lost sectors during the Season of the Wish. Day 1, the Strand High Impact Frame Fusion Rifle Nox Perennial 5, the Strand Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle Old Sterling, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Grenade Launcher Marsilian C, and the Stasis Omolon Adaptive Frame Sidearm Sinua SI6. Day 2, the Stasis High Impact Frame Pulse Rifle Cyhamatic 5, the Strand Precision Frame Scout Rifle Glissando 47, the Strand Vice Rapid Fire Frame Sniper Rifle Urakanji, and the Arc Adaptive Frame Sword Nazaruddin. Day 3, the Solar Lightweight Frame Sidearm Heliocentric QSC, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Sniper Rifle Last Foray, the Arc Aggressive Frame Shotgun Hand in Hand, and the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Pulse Rifle Battle Scar. Day 4, the Nadir Void Adaptive Frame Sword Geodetic HSM, the Arc Aggressive Frame Hand Cannon Combined Action, the Void Wave Frame Grenade Launcher Harsh Language, and the Solar Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle Coronactor 22. This week's rotation will start on Weapon Set 1 on Tuesday's reset. Tuesday, December 26th will be Thrillodrome on Neptune for exotic chests, Void Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Arc and Void Shields, Shocker Modifier, Overcharged Grenade Launchers with Barrier and Overload Champions. Wednesday, December 27th will be Gilded Precept on Neptune for exotic helmets, Arc Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Scorched Earth Modifier, Overcharged Glaives with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Thursday, December 28th will be the Scavenger's Den on the EDZ for exotic boots, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Arc Shields, Scorched Earth Modifier, Overcharged Fusion Rifles with Barrier and Overload Champions. Friday, December 29th will be Skydock 4 on the EDZ for exotic gauntlets, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void Shields, Pestilence Modifier, Overcharged Shotguns with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Saturday, December 30th will be the Quarry on the EDZ for exotic chests, Void Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Scorched Earth Modifier, Overcharged Grenade Launchers with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Sunday, December 31st will be Aphelions Rest on the Dreaming City for exotic helmets, Solar Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void Shields, Epitaph Modifier, overcharged shotguns with overload and unstoppable champions. And finally, back round to Monday, January 1st will be Bay of Drowned Wishes on the Dreaming City for exotic boots, Arc Threat, Solar and Stasis Surges, Void Shields, Raider Shield Modifier, overcharged snipers with overload and unstoppable champions.
Lead the way.
Our 5th featured Nightfall will see us face off against Sadia in the Corrupted over on the Dreaming City, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall is free to play. You'll be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, ascendant shards and adept Nightfall ciphers. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with ascendant shards in Grandmasters. Legend and lower Nightfalls will have 3 overload and 6 unstoppable, with 22 solar, 30 void and 15 arc shields. Masters and GMs will have 8 overload and 10 unstoppable, with 20 solar, 28 void and 14 arc shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are hero difficulty, maximum effective level 1765, matchmaking is available, enemies have extra shields, champions foe, you will face overload and unstoppable champions, you can either use intrinsic exotics, use a subclass debuff or unlock anti-champion mods from the seasonal artifact. Overcharged weapons, weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increase damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Arc Threat, 25% increase to incoming arc damage. Denial, taken Vandals summon their shields more often. Arc Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing arc damage. Void Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing void damage. Overcharged weapons, 25% bonus damage with rocket launchers. Galvanized, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Equipment locked, you will be unable to change your equipment after this activity starts. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1820, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Champions mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Chafe, radar is disabled. Grandmaster difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized and Denial. Joining progress disabled. Extinguish, if your fighting falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions, up to a maximum of 20. Contest mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. And Epitaph, taking combatants generate blight geysers when defeated. To combat champions, you have access to subclass counters as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods. This season's artifact is the Queen's Force Sensor. The anti-champion mods available this week are Overload Auto Rifle, Overload Pulse Rifle, and Overload Rocket Launcher, Unstoppable Hand Cannon, and Unstoppable Bow. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For Overload, the Void Energy Bowler Monarch, the Arc Energy Linear Trace Rifle Divinity, the Arc Heavy Machine Gun Thunderlord, and the Warlock Exotic Boots the Secant Filaments, which when you drop an Empowering Rift, any weapon that is fired from inside the well can cause an Overload champion to be stunned. For Unstoppable, the Kinetic Fusion Rifle Bastion, the Kinetic Hand Cannon Malfeasance, the Kinetic Scout Rifle Touch of Malice, the Solar Energy Sidearm Devil's Ruin, the Void Heavy Bow Leviathan's Breath, the Titan Gauntlet Sash and Wake, where Fusion Grenade hits stun unstoppable champions, and the Hunter Gauntlet Zathras' Embrace, which have a chance to stun unstoppable champions with their empowered weighted knife. The 6v6 Control playlist will feature Checkmate Control as a selectable mode. Checkmate Control is a modified version of Control, where rich primary weapon fights can happen more often, and gun skill can be augmented by communication and strong positioning. You will still have to capture the control point, but primary weapon damage has been tuned to feel a little differently from the rest of the game, without it being too jarring. This should reduce the gap between the faster killing weapons and the average time to kill, and in general pushing longer range primaries into the slower killing profiles. Players' health has been increased, but the passive regeneration of grenade, melee and class abilities has been reduced by 50%, and supers by 40%. You will also not spawn in with special ammo. Instead, you will have to earn it by generating points from kills, assists, deaths, zone captures and gathering heavy ammo. You won't lose points accumulated on death, and special ammo you earn persists through lives and rounds. Additionally, you do not drop special ammo on death. This all results in slightly longer combat encounters that reward skill and consistency. And Mayhem returns in the Party Relentless playlist. Mayhem is where 2 teams of 6 players go head to head in a clash type mode. Abilities and supers charged at an extremely faster rate than usual. Respawns are instant, and power ammo spawns are also much faster than usual. With the time limit of 10 minutes, the first team to get 125 eliminations is the winner. Elimination will also be available in the 3v3 playlist. Elimination is a 3v3 game mode that focuses on eliminating the enemy team. Teammates can revive each other, but cannot revive themselves. The first team to eliminate the other team wins the round. If neither team have been eliminated after 2 minutes, then a control point will spawn somewhere on the map. The team that captures the point will win the round. If neither team can capture the point, then whichever guardian is closest to the centre of the point will win the round. Heavy ammo will spawn in the round after a team has won 3 rounds. The first team to win 5 rounds wins the match. And available in the Crucible Labs playlist this week will be Relic. Relic is a 6v6 PvP party mode where all players wreak havoc and destruction on their foes with a relic weapon. Relics include the Aegis Shield from Vault of Glass, the Synaptic Spear from Season of the Risen, and the Scythe from Season of the Haunted. Each player charges their personal relic energy by defeating opponents with their normal loadout. Upon reaching full charge, players can acquire the relic from the Relic Depot. Defeating relic holders and using relics to defeat opponents earns points for the team.
Delightful!
And Saint 14 will be back at the weekend with Trials of Osiris Dominion, bringing with him a whole host of rewards for players who do make it to the lighthouse and open the chest. These include the Hero's Wake exotic Ghost Shell, the Valiant Memory exotic Ship, the Survivor's Journey exotic Sparrow, a new armor set, and the new Trials shader Visor Regalia. Trials of Osiris Dominion is a 3v3 PvP high stakes game mode with a twist of a capture point. In Dominion, 2 teams of 3 go head to head in a battle for control of a capture point. Teams can either work together to capture the control point or eliminate the enemy team to win the round. Only available from Friday Reset until Tuesday Weekly Reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought after weapons and armour. Players that compete in Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked to a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials of Osiris will grant exclusive weapons, armour, Pinnacle gear, masterwork materials, and even adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you the match for your passage card. By competing in Trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 Pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
That is amazing.
This week we'll see double XP across all Crucible game modes. Plus, this is the final week for Destiny's Christmas holiday event, The Dawning. And that's it for the 5th week of Season of the Wish. Thank you for watching. Allons-y.
Guardian down.